Hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Aurora C# Uncut Let's Play series. So, a few things before we get into today's episode, which is going to be pretty exciting as we continue our war. I want to say that progress is going well on the next series. I'm taking more of a break and we're going to be involving more RP in it. If you want to, head over to the Discord, feel free to ask questions about how it's going to set up. But basically, we're going to have an entire political system. There's going to be a Senate. We're modeling it off the Roman constitution. And there will even be a written constitution for you guys to read. And then you guys will be able to participate in the next in the next series that I make in an RP fashion. You'll make decisions. We'll have consuls and praetors. Governors will be assigned to areas. You'll be assigned troops, managing budgets, and basically, in a way, playing the government of my race that I will be playing for you guys. The prologue for that series will be out somewhat shortly. I'm hoping to get it out by next week, though obviously that may be delayed. Either way, there's a lot of exciting stuff happening over on the Discord, so if you want to go check that out, feel free to do so. Or if you want to add any advice of what you would like to see for next series and stuff like that, then feel free to. Keep in mind that this series will remain and it will keep going as it is the Uncut series. The point of this series is consistent content. The other series that is in development, which is the one I was talking about, is going to be for that the primary purpose is going to be a RP heavily edited episodes. So we'll have cuts and topics, and we'll have overlays and stuff like that, and a bunch of other things. And voting will be important. Bills will be assigned, which takes a lot more effort, and so that'll be once a week compared to currently, which is once a day episodes. Yeah, once a day episodes from here. Once we've got that series working and going ahead, I'm going to then focus on the next tutorial stuff, which you guys already voted for and will be on ground combat. That just might take me some time, like the carrier one, of course, took me quite a bit of time. But yeah, I hope you guys are looking forward to the new developments. Let's get right into it. So, we were continuing our fight across Evie Lacerte. We had destroyed most of the enemy vessels here, and we were capturing the acute classes. Interestingly enough, these vessels are fuel harvesters. I've never seen this before from a precursor force, so I was very interested. So yeah, 60,000 ton fuel harvesters here. And they have 21 modules, which is interesting to think about. So, what I'm going to do now is we're going to capture the other ones. We've already captured Fuel Harvester 001, now we're going to capture the other ones. We have available to us the first Carrier Strike Group, and we also have all of the Quebecs, which are ready to launch and deal with the enemy here. So we have 4 Quebecs, which have no forces on them because they just grab them. So I'm going to load unit, and I'm going to load all of the Marines back from here. And now that we know that the enemy is not dangerous, we're going to head straight towards the contacts. So yeah. Let's get moving. So that loading is going to take us about an hour to do, which is unfortunate, but what can you do? Okay, we complete orders. But keep in mind, they're actually pretty close to us, so once they've loaded up all of the Marines... Okay, that should be 2 sets of elite Marines loaded, at least I would think so, no? Quebec's Marines, 14th, 11th. We need the 21st and the 17th as well. Those are different levels and different qualities of Marines, so that is something to consider. Okay, so now we have how many we have loaded. We have 4 Marine boarding platoons. We're going to head towards the enemy contacts. I'm going to attempt boarding with the normal Marines, which are going to board this vessel, and then the other Marines are going to board this vessel, the elite Marines with bonuses to armor and a bunch of other things. So there we go. We've arrived on ship. Our elite Marines are murdering through. Yeah, they can barely even penetrate them, which is really, really cool. The proper Marines are just chomping through the crew members. There we go. So our normal Marines also doing really, really well here, and then obviously our single Marine. So one elite Marine is kind of worth 3 times that in normal Okay, there we go. We wiped out even more of the crew members, and we should gain control of both of these vessels relatively quickly here. We just have to start murdering through. That's another acute class captured. And then we have to murder the rest of the crew. There we go. We've captured 3 alien vessels for ourselves, which is fantastic. And now we have them all here available. Not only that, but they also have their own engines. So I'm going to fleet. I'm going to have you join 001, and then we're going to have you join 001. The actual fuel harvester is not that valuable of a ship to take over. I mean, it does have some refueling capability, as it has the magnetic plasma drives, but there's nothing here that's too important. But we now do have them, which is always nice. Now I'm going to order the Quebec class vessels to begin to actually transport those forces back to us, because we want to continue boarding the enemy vessels as best as we can. And then we're going to load that, and then we're going to head back, and we are going to land on the assigned mothership. I'm going to also order the carrier strike group to immediately head towards the enemy contacts, which I do believe we have one. Yeah, there's an Albany located significantly far away, which we are going to go and check out. So waypoint 3 is going to be the position we're going to go to. We also have secured the airspace around here, so I'm going to get ready to move over ground forces appropriately. So that, yeah, you're loading 9th, unloading, refueling, that'll take you 90 days. Yeah, that'll take you 90 days, therefore Nasius. Once you come back to Alpha Centauri, and then load up, where is the Marine forces here? I can't see them. First Army Corps, Army Marines. Are they on? No, remove. Are they on 55 Brutus? No, they're not. Where are the extra Marines? Let me have a look. We have Army Corps there, Marine divisions on Greenbridge. Oh yes, on Greenbridge, that's where they were. You're transporting nothing right now, apparently. So I'm gonna actually reroute you. You're gonna go to Greenbridge 34. Greenbridge 34. And you are going to load up some Marines. So Marine Division. Then we want to load up the second Marine Division. And then we're going to transport them over to EV Lacerte and head towards the ground forces. Another thing as well that I forgot to do, and I probably should at this point, is that we had some planet names that you guys suggested. So let me just go and grab them. So Jake Arenberg suggested some planet names. So we'll be renaming some of our colonies. So EQ Bagassi, we're going to rename you to Iguares. There we go. Shuv 2008A2, we're going to rename you to Pioneer. There we go. So I'm also going to rename this to Naval Outpost. Yeah, Naval Outpost Iguares. Grabmania, or not Grabmania, Groombridge. It's going to be renamed to Brontide. Yeah, Brontide works. Then we have Theta Fornasius A2, which we're going to rename to Ovation. And then Zeta Sextanus, which we've just now colonized, is going to be renamed to Solitude. There we go. We're really getting quite a lot of colonies now. It's getting pretty impressive. Our mining operations are also going really, really well. We're starting to get quite a few resources moved in. We are mining 22,000 gallicite consistently, so that is fantastic news as well. Also, our sorium is actually going up, which is good. We'll need that. So yeah, now let's head towards the enemy targets here. So far, no detection of an enemy vessel. Well, we are able to detect them. They're just moving. At least from what I can tell, anyway. Fine, you know what? We don't need to go and fight them for now. We can come back to the main planet. So, it's over on A2. Yes, it is. So we're going to move that immediately. And then we're going to have to wait quite a few days while we get more ground forces moved over. We also have the first carrier strike group. Oh, not the first carrier. I thought we had the other one. Okay, so now we're just going to do 8 days. So the acutes are going to join together. I'm going to send those back. Oh, the Albany returned? I didn't see. Looks like it's got no weapons, though. Okay, let's commence boarding and securing of that vessel. Detach. You have all of... No, you don't. Why do you guys never have the Marines that I want you guys to have? Load ground forces. Load ground forces. Oh, yeah, because you're the bloody Growlers. What am I doing? Growler block 2s. Detach. Join as subfleet. Not join as fleet. And then we have the Quebec classes, which have all of the other ones. Okay, there we go. Okay, detach, contacts, Albany, attempt boarding all formations. There we go. We're trying to breach it at the moment, so that may take some time. But that is what we are trying to do. Okay, you can now head back to the first carrier strike group just fine. 10. We're slowly trying to breach through the armor here. It's going to take us quite a bit of time, as you can see, and we've successfully penetrated the hull. How is the damage towards the crew doing? We lost a single Marine. Our elite Marines also did a lot of damage there. If we have a look, yeah, they hit 23 times of 114 shots. So hopefully we should be able to secure the vessel relatively easily. Just murder through all of the crew and secure that Albany class for us. There we go. It's a destroyer crew. It's a missile destroyer. Guided missile destroyer. No, it's destroyer escort, close air support, missile destroyer. There we go. So it's the Qatar class missile destroyer. ECM, 2 magnetoplasma drives, 4 size 6 launchers. That's a lot of tonnage used. It's used a lot into armor. Got a really big sensor, and it's got a very long range. But yeah, that does give us quite a bit of information now. I'm gonna have this destroyer then head over to since you should have all of your components still around and available to you. Let me check damage control. Yeah, all components are repaired and fine. We're gonna head you back to Groombridge 34 and have you go and refuel resupply at Bonside. And then I will have you disassembled at that point. But that is nice to see. That's a nice another vessel that we've been able to capture here. Okay. Interior B class has exceeded the deployment time apparently. They should all be landed. Oh, I know. I screwed up, didn't I? Ontario Bs, you guys need to land on assigned mothership as a fleet. Because we already had them out. The acute class vessels, you guys should be able to get back, but I'm going to send you back. I'm actually going to send you to 55 Buddhist. You'll actually do better there, helping us out than otherwise. So I'm going to send you over to Sol. Oh, that'll take you way too long. Go to Greenbridge. Refuel, resupply, and then head to 55 Buddhist, and then join the Bavaria. There we go. Should not take too long, and now we're just going to wait for our ground forces to arrive. It'll take about half a year for them to. So, yeah, there's not much for us to do while we wait here. What we can do, actually, though, is we can bring... Should have one of these available. I'm going to bring you. You're going to go over back to EV Lacerte, and you are going to help survey it because we now have gotten rid of most of the ships and also the surface to orbit weapons, so we are completely free to now do that. Okay, the Albany has completed orders and is now at the colony. We're now going to disassemble. We're going to send you to Sol. I'm going to disassemble you. So Sol, and we will begin to disassemble the vessel for research purposes. Insufficient maintenance supplies were I really need to do a refit for that class of vessel. I will admit on that one. Let me have a look over on saying first carrier strike group. We have our supply vessel who should be dishing out maintenance supplies, resupply and fleet. That's the problem. Yeah, that needs to be into resupply and fleet. Otherwise, we have issues there. So, hopefully that should work out. Okay, the Albany has arrived. We're now going to use one of our 10,000 ton shipyards to begin to scrap the new class. So it's, I think, K. Oh yeah, it was under Qatar. There we go. So that'll be done relatively shortly. Once that's assembled, we can then disassemble the individual components for research benefits for us. We can also begin salvaging over here, which should work okay. Acute classes have run are in EV Lacerte and nearly out of fuel. We'll have to play track to these bloody ships back at this rate. Fine, just hold there. They need like a full gallon of fuel before they can really get anywhere. But now, yes, the survey ship has arrived. Natal, PA. Let's make sure that you actually like get the fuel you need. So Groombridge, that'll take you 40 days. Then refuel from Colony, and I'll give you new orders, but you should be able to get there in time. Natal 006, we are coding an abandoned ECM module. We have inactive research facilities over on the Rice. Rice is handling all logistics. So let's continue that. There we go. All days we discovered a new jump point in Zebutus, which is interesting. Yeah, then the tower should be able to arrive at the planet just fine. There we go. And we've surveyed the planet. Anything of significant note? We found a ruined colony. That's pretty decent, actually. And then the planet itself just has a ton of resources, but no accessibility of any amount, really speaking. Okay, now head over to EV Lacerte and begin your invasion of the planet. With 2 marine divisions, we should be able to pretty easily wipe out the forces on the world. I don't expect the resistance to be too hard to deal with. Production of refueling station, there we go. And hopefully our freighter or our transports get here somewhat shortly. Shouldn't take too long, I would think anyway. There we go, and the towers have arrived. And we can begin to deploy our forces. So we have 2 marine divisions ready to deploy. These also fought against the Rackers, so they do have some experience. Why are we unloading? Let's orbital drop. Orbital drop. Orbital drop complete. And that should now mean that we have all of our infantry divisions over in EV Lacerte. There we go. Both of them are ready and fit for combat duties. We have a comm engineer brigade for some reason under here. Apparently we brought it along. We also have some extra infantry battalions that have been brought along as well, which is unfortunate, but that'll be fine. They shouldn't be on frontline attack though. I am going to set field position, frontline defense. Actually, frontline attack will be fine for those. Okay, let's go through a round of combat. No combat. Should have happened. Oh, I hit the save button by accident. But yeah, we should be able to wipe out these ground forces pretty easily, I would think. There's only probably about 50,000 tons, and they don't have mountains or any of the other kind of defenses the other worlds had. So it should be relatively easy in comparison with those other worlds. So once we've secured this, we can then begin to colonize through here. Yeah, let me check the event log. No, we did not have any combat happen. There we go, there's some combat. Okay, so we lost 307 Marines, 101 mortars, but we are absolutely slaughtering through them. So this is much higher casualty of a war. We killed 1,500 Centurions in the first wave, but we also lost about 300. So we're trading about 1 to 5 right now. 54. That's a lot of infantry battalions. Holy crap. Yeah, we got a lot of medals. Holy crap, medals. Everybody got a medal for winning a battle. And yeah, we really went through them. Holy crap. We'll be able to replace these losses relatively easily now that we have access to the logistics battalions. So we can begin to move in replacements for these as soon as we can. Okay, and then 8. So another 8-hour increment. There's only 69 Centurions actually left now. We killed 258. We lost 30. And we're able to just cut through. So this is really what terrain makes as a difference. We also identified the Praetorian High Leader as one of those. So yeah, this may only take us 3 days. Now we're starting to break through the enemy. And we're breaking through, and we're killing all the Praetorians, and we've successfully defeated the alien enemy and the alien forces. We lost, I don't know, maybe one. Yeah, we lost 1/5 of the forces total. If we have a look at our current ground forces on the planet, over on EV Lacerte, we lost maybe 5,000 tons of forces. We'll have to have all of these replaced and sorted out. And moved and adjusted. But I will get replacements done for these Marine Infantry divisions. And yeah, that was a very, very successful campaign. And we have secured this world for the for us and for the Republic. And now we can get the hell out of here. So, Natals, let's have you load up ground forces. Load up 2nd Marine. Load up 3rd Marine. And then we're going to have you head over to Rice, or Centauri, and I want you to unload those forces onto Akhtar for now. The 1st Carrier Strike Group, you're going to head back to Earth. And I'm also going to have you repair your sensor. You're going to head back to Earth for a job well done and a nice award ceremony for your work. But yeah, we have successfully conquered this territory here, which is fantastic news for us. So we can now take over the toggle here. We can put this to Federalist Republic of Earth. And yeah, that can now be colonized whenever we want it to be. We've also now colonized Extanus. We need to colonize some of these other places. Our empire is really, really growing massively, and it's really, really, really cool to see that happen. If I don't do something about those acutes, that's going to be an issue, isn't it? Fine. I'll have to send I'm going to send the A-Lodge supply refuel from the colony, and then head over to EV Lacerte fleets, join the acutes, and then we can bring the fleets back over to where we need them to be. Send as executive officer. How much longer until we get that ship? Oh, did we already disassemble it? Fantastic news. Disassemble those components, disassemble the magazine, ECM, and then ECCM2, magnetoplasma drive, missile fire controls we can also disassemble, and then the size 6 missile launchers as well, which is also a lot of great research we can grab for that. There we go. And then we can just do 5-day increments. Unrest is rising apparently on EV Lacerte due to radiation levels. Political stability. Not doing too good. Ovation. Wait, do we have a colony already there? No, we don't. So that doesn't even matter for me right now. We did nuke it a bit, so I mean, what can you really expect? Ovation, Theta for Nasius. Yes, that's what Natals actually needed to do. So Natals, once you have unloaded, go into 55 Budas, load up a infantry division. We have 2nd Infantry Division. We need to organize all of these guys correctly, and I'm not sure why they're not organized properly. Where is impassive? New outpost impassive. 2nd Army Corps. We have infantry division, infantry division, infantry division. We have this infantry division over here. Did we load and then send over brigades? I think we did. Yeah, we did. So once you arrive, load the 9th Infantry Division. Take that to Theta Fornasius. And then unload all ground forces there. Okay. Our supercarriers are doing really, really well. I'm starting to wonder, should we need more of them? We may do. What we do need, of course, we always need it, is going to be Cardigan B-class vessels and Devonshire B-class vessels. But I'm starting to think we need to make a new class, a new generation of Normandy-class supercarriers. And we are not that far away here from internal confinement fusion technology. And once we have access to that technology, we can then begin to design the next generation of war vessels. That'll take us estimated time of 3 years to gain access to that technology, which is fantastic news. I mean, if we look at our current Normandy class vessels, if we go over to Supercarrier Normandy Block 2, Shipperson class, the first Normandy class vessel was put into service in the year 2201. So it's been around 30 years. They've been serving the Empire. So now we're going to design ourselves the next generation of warship. The next the next echelon for what our desires are going to be. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the Normandy, we're going to copy it, and then I'm going to first off we're going to do a few things. First thing is, then the tonnage I want for our next generation supercarrier is going to be a 100,000 ton vessel. So that is what we're going to be aiming for. This will be a supercarrier like none other. It will have a speed of 5,000 kilometers per second. 5,000. And it will use internal confinement fusion. And there we go. So that's a lot of fuel there for the range I would like. I'd like 20 billion kilometers instead, please. So that'll be use 3 engines. That's still a lot of fuel in my opinion, for the amount of range I would necessarily want. That's fuel 160 HS. I'd like that to be 1/3. So you would ideally want like 100 fuel of HS. So what about 4,000 kilometers per second here? 80. That is much better, but still that is a little bit of a problem in my opinion. To get the 4,000 kilometers per second speed, but that would also give us a lot of tonnage to play with and would really make this an insanely powerful vessel. So one of the weaknesses, let's think about the weaknesses of Normandy Block 2, okay? So one of the big weaknesses, well, there's a few. The big weaknesses was pretty slow. The Block 2 did upgrade a little bit on that, but it couldn't catch things. Why would we need for people to catch us? Well, we were getting close to the enemy. And the reason we're getting close to the enemy is because it made it easier for sensors to detect. So this next generation of ships, I want to have slower, or not slower, but same speed, much more fuel efficient. Much more fuel efficient, but it's going to have much longer range sensors, and it's also going to have better fighters and better craft so that it can extend the range so it doesn't even have to get near to the target. My idea is that we're going to make a ship that can be 1 billion kilometers away from any given target and still engage in combat. That is going to be the idea behind it. So we're going to need 4 engines of a size, what would the size be of these engines? 80, so 80 HS engines. We have access to that technology. There we go. We may want the 160 EP version there. That gives us 2 engines and a lot more, but I actually don't like that. I'd like 4 engines. Actually feels just better. Not only in terms of redundancy, but in terms of other things. So 125, and then 8 HS, and that works for me. We're gonna oh no, I don't. We want to show next tech, don't we? Yes, we do. So 125, and then we want to go to 80 hull space. There we go, and that gives us a 2,000 engine power engine. And then we're going to remove the 2 magnetoplasma engines there, and then we're going to add in the prototyped internal fusion drives. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is 12,000 tons taken up by the drives. And then we're going to start thinking about the hangar deck capacity, okay? So the normally class supercarrier has a capacity of 29,000 tons, or a total of 58 craft that it can carry. I want to put that number up to 90, and to put that up to the number to 90, we're going to need 45,000 hangar deck capacity. So with a capacity of 90, we could then have theoretically 6 squadrons. Yeah, we could have 6. We could have 7 squadrons, no? Yeah. Or 8. We could have 8 squadrons, and then we can move everything else over. This would also then allow us to consolidate the role of the Norfolk into this vessel, because then we could carry a bunch of other things. So let me think. So we have 48 craft, and those 48 craft use 24,000 tons. Double that, that's 48,000 tons. So for a total of 8 squadrons, we would need that much. For 2 more squadrons, we would need 36,000 tons, and then we can use the remaining 9,000 tons for other purposes. So that's going to be the goal. So we're going to increase our hangar deck capacity here. 36, 34, 39, 44, 45,000 tons of hangar deck space, which will then allow us to dock 72 fighters, or 6 squadrons, as well as be able to have fuel extension fighters, AWACS or CWACS, recon crafts, all this sort of stuff we can then dock to the vessel accordingly. This is also ballooning its cost, if we can see here, but it's going to be worth it. So one thing that I'm actually going to remove, though, before we move on, is going to be the carrier missile stores. We recently developed much better magazine technology, and that means that we can really make use of what we need. So let's say that we had a standard complement would be 48 aardvarks and then 24 Ontario class interceptor vessels, okay? So that means that we're going to need 48. Let's bring up the calculator real quick. I just want to make sure that we have exactly the amount of missiles. So let's say we have 48 times them by 4. That gives us 192, right? But then we have to times that by 4 again. So that gives us 768 space for a single salvo. Let's see how many salvos we can realistically get out of something like this. So if we did like a size 100 magazine, that would give us 2 salvos, okay? And then also there's a third salvo that's already loaded with them. So we would need, with 200 HS, we get 3,600 capacity, which works out pretty damn well for us. I mean, I'll look at our current magazines, right? So carrier missile stores, that adds 1,600 at 5,350 tons. Okay, so this is more efficient, just straight up more efficient. Where's the design? Bring up the design again. Yeah, 10,000 tons, 3,600 capacity, but so 3,600, how many would that be salvo-wise? 3,600, divide that by 768. That gives us about 5 salvos total. Yeah, 5 salvos in total capacity, which is a decent amount. I mean, keep in mind that that's for 4 squadrons and not 3, right? So that would be, we would be firing effectively, I mean, if we just times that by 4, right, we'll fire 192 missiles in a single salvo from a single carrier. So that will require a lot of missiles. We may also do a redesign, but I actually am going to go for the 3,600 capacity magazine. Not only is that more efficient, I think 5.5 salvos or so is fine. generally. So we're going to go for a 3600 magazine capacity there. Another thing that I'm going to add as well is going to be the combat information center. Just to add that in. And we also want to remove the fuel, of course, because we don't need as much of it, because we have a more efficient engines now. So I'm going to remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. That gets us more space. And then we want to actually assign up what our what our aardvarks are going to be, right? So we're going to have a total of, so let's just think this out. So we're going to have 24 Ontario B, so that's 2 squadrons of Ontario B class vessels. Then we're going to have 48 aardvark class vessels. Then we're going to need 4 where are they? 4 growler class vessels. So there we go. Then I also want to add a few Quebecs in here. So we're going to add 2 Quebec class vessels. So we've used 24,000, 2,000, 26,000, 12,000. So we use 38,000. So we use 40,000 of capacity so far. So we can add another 5 in accordingly to wherever I would like. For now, we'll leave that until I can get some redesigns of some vessels and move some things around. So super carrier pretty much done. Not done, but yeah, it's looking good. The Aegis defense guns, do we really want them on a carrier? They're kind of acting as mainly just a way to handle just a way to handle like close in. It's like close in weapon support systems, really. So we could have even more hangar deck capacity. So currently we're at 90 500-ton craft we can carry. If we increase that by another 5,000, we can then carry 108 total fighters. And we can do a lot more surrounding it. One thing I do want to focus on is getting us some better sensors. That's definitely something that I would like to focus on. But honestly, we may just want to keep the sensors we have. But I think we can probably design something that's a little bit better. So if we go for like a size 20, yeah, size 20, that's 1,000 tons. That gives us 177 million kilometers total, which is pretty great. But also puts out a massive signature. So we can definitely do something akin to that. But we could also then again just add in more hangar deck space, right? And that would be really helpful. We can add even more fighters into a single carrier, right? Or we can even have some troop capacity, which is something that I am actually thinking about doing, right? So I'm going to add in. I'm going to add in 2 standard bays, okay? Now you may be asking, okay, why are you doing that? The reason I'm doing it, and I'm also going to add a cargo shores bay for this. The reason I am actually going to be doing this is because I want to have extra boarding platoons. So we can have 8 extra boarding platoons on the actual vessel. And not only will they be able to protect the super carrier, protect it, we will also be able to, they'll also be able to be used for having the Quebecs come back, bring more forces, load more stuff up, and go through Marines if we need to, right? So maybe we want to go for like 4 Quebecs instead at any one time. So no, yeah, we're gonna go for 1, 2, 3, 4. Then there's some other vessels I want. So we're gonna look at our fighters before we continue designing the next generation of super carrier, and we're gonna be renaming this. It's not gonna be a Normandy refit. It's gonna be a completely new vessel. Let's have a look at our strike fighters. Now, one thing I've always found with our strike fighters is they're a bit too fast for their own good. I actually think that we can cut back on the speed significantly, especially when we get new tech, and we can have a more fuel-efficient overall engine design. So we're going to go for what is 300 magnetoplasma. Yeah, we'll make a copy. So that's 250 tons, right? So I don't think we need a 250-ton engine, realistically speaking, when we could have more missiles on a single salvo. So 240, we'll do a 5HS engine, right? And then we can, if we go 300%, that gives us, no, I'll show next. 300%, 10HS, 500 HS. So that gives us a speed of 30,000 kilometers per second, right? Which is as fast as a missile. I don't really need that or want that. So what I can do is I can reduce the HS of the engine, so we gain 50 tons, right? And we're then going the same speed. But honestly, I'm thinking we can even go to 150 ton, and then we can just use bigger missiles, I think. That is something that I want to be looking into and using, so that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to prototype that design, right? And then I'm gonna first off, we're gonna update the armor. Second off, we're gonna remove the magnetoplasma. Then we're gonna add in the internal confusion drive. There we go. It also reduces fuel use a little bit as well. And then next, I'm going to be looking into missiles, right? So I want probably size 6 missiles is what I'm aiming for here. And then that would also then mean we can standardize the missiles that we do use pretty damn well, mainly. Like, we can use the same missiles in each launcher fairly effectively as like our Firebirds and our non. So we know our targets we have a range of 40 million kilometers right now. What would a size 6 missile, max amazing speed at 40 million kilometers with a water strength of 9, using yeah, so we're on, what kind of missile technology are we on right now? Missile. Let me have a look. Missile tech. We're on warhead strength of 6. So I believe that means we're on fusion research. We're on 2-stage. I'm just gonna check if we have any updated. No, we do not. Okay, so we're on that, but let's use internal confinement technology, and let's say the aim of the ship we're trying to target is going to be that. That gives us a missile going 56,000 kilometers per second with a 14 million kilometer range. That it can do 9 warhead damage. What if we increase this to 16? That'll give us a much slower missile, but that would also nearly double the damage. Honestly, I'm going to go with 9 damage because that is more than double the damage of our current missiles, and that gives us a decent range on top of it. So with a missile like that, we have a significant improvement, right? Against a 5 kilometer per second vessel, we're going to hit 112% of the time, so we always guarantee the hit. We're going to aim for a little bit higher. Let's say we want 8,000 kilometers per second. And we want an 80% chance to hit, right? So that slows down the missile, but that does make it a lot higher percentage chance to hit a target. So 8,000 kilometers per second, which is interesting to think about. So if we did 50%, that would give us 56,000. I'm okay with sacrificing. What if we did 100%? Yeah, can't do that, can we? I'm okay with sacrificing 6,000 kilometers per second to gain, an 80% chance to hit the enemy target if it's going 8,000 kilometers per second. Okay? Which future enemies may go, and we need to be careful of that. We need to be able to hit that and destroy it. And if it can hit it that effectively, it can hit a 5 kilometer per second vessel relatively easily. I would not say. Actually, why don't we just now we'll do 5,000 because that is the target we can currently have. It's already over what we really need. So, assuming we have a missile like that, we're then going to need obviously better missile launchers. We have about half of the vessel that we can now use for missile launchers. So we're going to use box launcher, so size 6. And that gives us 45 tons, right? So that means that we can have a total of almost 5 missile launchers on this vessel, but we can have 6, or 4 of them, I mean. Which is the amount we had on, if we have the box launcher, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could have 5 launchers on this, which would then mean that we're firing, 20% more missiles, but then they're also heavier, so we need more magazine space. But that's a lot of missiles, right? That is a lot. The next important thing, though, realistically speaking, is going to be important for this, is actually having some decent range. So I'm actually going to dedicate. So that gives us a 500 million kilometer range. I'm not okay with that. Okay. So what I'm going to do. Okay. That's 12. 12 and then 30. So that's 48. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move one of those. And I'm going to actually make a more fuel efficient engine. In fact, why don't we use this? So I want a 500 ton vessel. We'll do 18 kilometers per second. Yeah, 18,000 kilometers per second. Actually, 20,000 would probably be easier, but we'll do 18. And I want a range of 2 billion kilometers. So we have that to give us a billion kilometer range, right? That gives us a engine of 3.6 HS with a 2.50, a 2.5 boost with 55,000 fuel, 2 billion kilometer range. That gives us an effective range of a billion kilometers because, of course, half of the range will always be half of the range we'll only be able to move up to half, otherwise we won't be able to actually get back to the ship we're from, right? So we need to be negativing it or bringing it down accordingly. So there we go. So that's going to be the engine we'll actually be using. So I'm going to get rid of the current engine, and then I'm going to add in the new engine. So internal infusion drive. So you have a lot less fuel. And that gives us a really nice range, doesn't it there? And then I'm going to fill that fuel up accordingly. Just want to make sure on these size 6 box launchers, they have a cost of 3.6, okay? So we have an MSP of 5. We probably want to add more MSP. So I'm going to add missile maintenance storage. I'm going to add a tiny one of those. That gives us 30, which means that we can probably repair quite a decent amount. And then I'm also going to just increase the range of the vessel. So that's going to be the Aardvark Block 4. Another important thing to note, it's actually cheaper than the Block 3, but it's going to be more capable in that it can fire bigger missiles. And it's got longer range. So we can use it in a capacity that's going to be a lot better for us, right? So I'm also going to increase the deployment time in regards to that. So 3... Yeah, I'm going to just do 0.1, right? Or 0.3. 0.03. So that gives us 0.9 days. So that gives like 20 hours total time. I think that's a pretty good vessel, pretty good fire, and that's probably what we will be using. The next thing that I want to have a look at designing, though, is going to be a fuel support vessel. Which I'm going to make a new hull. So airborne or spaceborne refuel. Spaceborne Fuelcraft or SFC. So the purpose is we're going to have a pretty efficient engine on this, and it's going to be to refuel. It's going to be a 1,000-ton vessel. And we don't really need it to be that fast, realistically speaking. We just need to be fast enough to keep up with the rest of the fleet. So I'm going to do a ship optimizer. We're going to go for a 1,000-ton vessel. I want to use a design speed around, we'll do 6,000 kilometers per second. Would that be okay? 5,000 kilometers per second. Make sure it's fuel efficient in many regards. It would also be nice if it was able to keep up with the other fighters. So 12,000 with a range of 2 billion kilometers. So that gives us a optimal HS of 1 with 12,000 kilometers per second. What if we did 18,000 kilometers per second? That'll give us 6.8 HS, and then we can just add more fuel in for refueling purposes. So the most important thing that we're going to actually need, first off, we're going to get out of the bridge because we don't need it. Second off, we're going to add in a refueling system. So that's 500 tons, so we have to keep that in mind. We can add in the 80 liters per hour system. And then we're going to need an engine of some description. And considering a refueling system is 500 tons, Okay. We don't have much room in the way of things, so I'm going to get rid of that. We're going to need something that's a lot smaller, realistically speaking. So a HS that would give us a 50-ton engine. So maybe I do want 18,000 kilometers per second, but that's not very fuel efficient, is it? What if I did if we went for the 5,000 kilometers per second route? That would give us a very, very small engine. And would allow us to have plenty of fuel on the actual vessel in question, but then it would not be able to catch up with our other vessels. So I'm going to go for 18,000. So that means a 6-point HS engine. So engines, show next tech. We want a 6.8. 6.8. Which is pretty big. I don't think we can afford to use that, from what I can tell. 6 point... No, I want an engine. 6.8 HS. We'll see if we can. I don't know. I probably will not be able to, because that's quite a bit of tonnage. Let's look at the calculator here. So I need 2.65. And the boost. There we go. Prototype the engine. Yeah, the refueling systems are just so big that that's kind of the problem. So the point of this vessel is going to be to extend the range of our craft. Okay, so let's add in fuel, 50,000. Yeah, it's not enough. So let's think about it, right? So an Aurora Block 3 will have 50,000 liters of fuel. Okay, now we have 12 of those in a squadron. So 12 times 50,000 is going to be 600,000 liters. So we need to have a fuel vessel or a spaceborne fuel craft that can supply 500,000 worth of fuel. So let's try and do that. We can add the fuel storage. We can add in large, and then another large. That's 500,000 liters of fuel. That is not enough for what we need, unfortunately. No, we need 600,000 liters. We could probably do 300,000 liters, which would be half of the range. So we would be able to extend, so we would be able to extend the range of our fighters by 500 million kilometers, which we could do, realistically speaking, right? So that is what I am going to be doing, I think. So we're going to go for a 300,000, and then we're going to go for a small engine, So I want a boosted engine that's going to be, 1.6, right? Even a 1.2 size engine, which is not very fast, I will admit. Not a very fast engine at all. But also I designed it with the wrong technology. So show next. We want like a 300% fuel consumption drive, and then I'm going to do 0. or 1.5 HS. We'll need some more than that actually, so I'll go for like a 1 HS engine. We'll prototype that design. I think that'll get us 3,000 kilometers per second, I think. 60 HS, yeah, that gives us 3,000 kilometers per second. But that allows us to have 300,000 liters of fuel and a 2.2 billion kilometer range. And then we would be able to completely refuel most stuff relatively quickly, right? But we need a much more fuel efficient engine. The problem is this would make the vessel very, very slow. So, it's got a bridge. That is a big deal. The fact it has a bridge actually really, really does help. So we could then add in extra fuel storage, but no, we're gonna keep with 300,000 liters. I think that works pretty well for us. We're gonna get rid of the bridge, and then we're gonna design the engine. So the engine is gonna be, I would say, we can do like 100 ton. So 2 HS, 300%, and we can probably go higher than that. So 2.2, 2.4. Yeah, we're going to go for a 2.4 HS engine. Let's see how that does. So engine 2.4 HS. 180, 140, there we go. So that gives us 3.4 billion kilometer range. Or 5 days at full power with a 7,000 kilometer per second speed. I want to be more fuel efficient, I'll be honest with you. So we're going to go show next tech. Oh, yeah, show next tech. I want a probably, let's do like a 2.5x, and then we'll do a 2.4. That gets fuel consumption down more, but that also will reduce the speed of our vessel, right? So 180, that gives us 4,000. Let's try a 170 because I think that'll make us 4,000 kilometers per second, which I'm okay with actually. 1,000. That means it'll be able to actually at least keep up with the rest of the fleet. So yeah, it gives us 4,000 kilometers per second. That gives us a range of 14.2 billion kilometers, which is quite a lot when you think about it. Right, so I actually think we can get away with a smaller engine then, or a more power boosted engine anyway. I'm gonna go for one of these then. We'll go for a 2.4 engine. 92, which will give us a speed of like 4,500. 45, 90, 91. There we go. So that gives us a speed of 4,000 kilometers per second. And that's 81. Where's the new one? I must have forgot. I must have not prototyped it. Let's do a 2.5 then. We need to show new tech. 2.5 at a 2.4 HS. That'll give us 6,000 kilometers per second, which is a lot more respectable overall at a speed. Internal confusion, 2 point, yeah. Commercial, 2.4, 120, there we go. That gives us a range of 5 billion kilometers, 10,000. Yeah, I actually like that. So now we can use this vessel. I'm going to lower its deployment time as well here. It just needs like 9 days, I think, at most. And then we can just add some extra fuel in there. There we go. I'm going to make this a tanker, but I am not going to have it set its minimum fuel. It doesn't need a minimum fuel. It's just going to have the amount that it requires. Minimum fuel set to 0. 3220. So 300 to 3,230. So we're going to do it like that, just because I want as much fuel as possible. And then we'll be able to attach this craft to our Normandy block. Yeah, our Normandy block 2, not or the next generation vessel, right? So the Sussex, we can then have we can have 2. Well, yeah, we have 2 of these vessels on it. And then that will allow us to then refuel squadrons in the field more easily. And yeah, I think that's pretty good. Anyway, I'm sorry this has been more of a design episode. I hope you guys actually enjoyed us just like designing vessels, thinking about the next generation. We cleaned up some aliens at the start of the episode. And we'll hopefully continue our colonization efforts. I'll see you guys next time. Please consider a like, comment, and subscribe. It really, really does help me out. And even consider becoming a channel member if you hit the join button. It all goes towards keeping the channel going. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. And special thanks to members Ultigo1101, King Strozer, Louis Netto, Impassive 9001, Gravmania, Petit Renito, and Fishik. Thanks for your support. We're able to keep the channel going. And I'll see you guys next time.